So first question, it says, how are the Latinos, Puerto Ricans, Native Indians also Hebrews? Or please just give me the book scriptures to study.
Oh, I'll give you better yet. I did a whole breakdown with nothing but books, sources, the whole nine to prove that yes, Native Americans, indigenous people of the Americas, you know, and of course they've been scattered as well, even other places in Europe, but definitely they are Hebrew Israelites. So I did a lesson, Are the Native Americans Hebrew Israelites, on, you can find it on YouTube on True Nation 12, so you can definitely look into that, but there's plenty of books. If you want a few books now, you know, I mentioned many of them in the particular class, but I'll give you a lot of the books. Hold on 1 minute. It's a gang of books that get it. Let me give you this historical book list that I have.
No, I'll bring some out too. You probably got them all.
I got a gang of them, but definitely are the Native Americans Israelites. You could definitely find that on True Nation 12. One of the books that you can read is Black Indians, so you can definitely read. Hold on, let me get this. I want to get the whole list.
Stop right there. You about to get killed. Whoever represent the 12 tribe chart, whoever still believing, you're not going to be a believer after this. How is it that all of the tribes on the tribe chart are located on the Western Hemisphere? It's one verse that could kill this whole 12 tribe chart. According to your doctrine, y'all traveled the sea around Africa and came into this new land where y'all supposed to do y'all statutes, which y'all never could keep amongst the heathen. We're eating abominable meats, walking around half naked.
Right. You want to get
And you call
American
Indians had blacks as slaves.
You
North
want
Africa,
Christopher
Northwest
Columbus,
Africa,
Holocaust?
the Algerian region.
You want Christopher Columbus?
Osiris.
Excuse me.
Right
Lost Tribes
there.
and Promised Land by
Osiris.
Ronald Sanders. A Brief Account
North
of the Devastation
Algeria.
of the Cities by Bartolomé de las Casas. Columbus, His Enterprise.
they got these books.
Exploding the Myth.
The scriptures
by
say,
Hans, Koning.
Many studying many books and leave you weary. How are you believing every book except the Holy Scriptures?
By Myra K. Serling.
Talking about the book talking about he met Reuben up the river. Man, these is all man-made lies.
Americans by Jack D. Forbes. History of the American Indians by James Adair. Christopher Columbus and the African Holocaust by
And on top of that, it said they were going to practice their laws, which the Native Americans, Seminole Indians, were not doing.
Indians by William Loren Katz, and Footprints of the Jesuits by Richard Wigington Thompson. All right, I know it's a mouthful, but like I said, I did a whole breakdown of it. You can find on True Nation 12 are the Native Americans Israelites. All right, next question.
Until people wake up, they're going to continue to be fooled by this chart.
If y'all get a chance, I want y'all to get this book. Now, you got a lot of the wide-nosed, big-lip Negroes who are upset about the Mexicans. So in this book entitled Origins of the American Indians, I want all you Negroes online to get angry with this book now. Joe, and I want you to open up to page 88, and we're just going to read what it says. I'm not even going to go to scripture to verify a point, which we've done many times. I want you to zoom in, cameraman, on the highlighted part. I'm going to read it. It reads, the Mexicans are originally of the 10 tribes captured by Salmanazar and of the family of Issachar, whom the Indians recognize as their special ancestor. Now, get a Lord a hand. Get a Lord a hand for that thing. Get mad, Negro. You can get mad if you want. Get mad.
Use your head now. This is the first red flag with the 12 tribe chart. Now, all of these 12 tribes are brothers, so that means they're going to have some similar characteristics, meaning they're going to have the same mother and father.
What does the kingdom do?
Blended in with Assyrian society.
They begin to blend in with all the
Assyrian society. What society? You got different nations among them.
If Issachar and Jacob have the same mother, then they have to look alike. So we're gonna have to prove that they have the same mother, so they should look alike. Issachar shouldn't be a Mexican, and Jacob be a Negro, but they got the same mother and father. That doesn't happen nowhere in today.
They mix around with the Medes. They mix around with the Mesopotamians, with the Armenians. They all died. Remember, Ephraim mingled themselves all the time.
There's no way that Issachar is a Mexican, Gad is a Native American, an Indian, but Judah is a black man. And these all come out the same mother and father. Come on now. Come on, people. Use your head.
Ephraim was known to do this.
Yeah, it's safe to say like the tribe of Israel is mainly Hispanic, based on like the 12 tribe breakdown.
I got PTSD, nigga. You should know better by now. This is that nut ass nigga. A festival that nigga ran up and he just bitch made as hell. A peculiar nigga. It's just this is a family of niggas. 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 Your nigga already off to a bad start, my nigga.
I'm sorry, brother.
All right, we good.
But
Your nigga. What are you talking about, my Hispanic brothers? Your nigga. Liz, you better act right.
bro, I'm acting right.
You better. Nah, you wasn't if I cut you up. You already off to a bad start, my nigga.
I'm sorry, brother.
Oh, listen. R.I.P. to the 12 tribes chart. I repeat. R.I.P. to the 12 tribes chart. The 12 tribes chart. Oh my God, man. Oh my God. This is a big stumbling block in Israel. Probably one of the biggest that I know of today in Israel. You literally have a split in the kingdom about this doctrine. 12 tribe chart.
Do you hold that chart was the product of revelation?
Oh yes.
We spoke about this last time, and Arya. And I mean, is that part of your tradition, or am I mischaracterizing that?
Well, you're not mischaracterizing it, but we do believe that was definitely inspired.
Today, I'm going to prove that the 12 tribe chart is flawed, it's inaccurate, and it couldn't possibly be from the Most High, and that it's another tradition of man, another man-made tradition. What should I start with the 12 tribe chart? I'm looking at the 12 tribe chart right now.
To know that the American Negro is of the tribe of Judah. For example, let me show you again, in case that comes into question.
It says Judah, the so-called Negroes. That's probably the only thing they got right on this chart. Everything else is flawed.
Like I know a lot of people in Israel says they are Yehudi, right?
Mm-hmm.
Watch.
Right, and I mean also the chart gets into Issachar and I mean there's a long.
Yes. For example, it says Zechariah 12:7 says. Like I know a lot of people in Israel says they are Yehudi, right?
Mm-hmm.
Watch.
Right, and I mean also the chart gets into Issachar and I mean there's a long.
Yes. For example, it says Zechariah 12:7 says.
You got the chart saying that Issachar is the Mexicans. That's a big right there. Issachar is the Mexicans.
That leads us to the next question. Had the Americans contact with the Chinese? How could such a contact be established? It's time to bring the Olmecs back into sight. If you examine Olmec artifacts, only the giant heads look Negroid. The smaller objects, often made from jade, show Eastern-looking features. Here's a small collection of these.
Buddy, how are you? Asian, not Mexican. Let's just get that out of the way right now. A lot of people tell me I look Mexican. I either look like a fat Asian guy or a regular Mexican. Okay. That's weird.
But I'm gonna hit y'all with something, right? The importation of slaves from Africa was very short in Mexico, right? What a lot of people don't know, was very, very short in Mexico. But it was 200,000 in particular male slaves from Mali that were brought to Mexico. And it is on record, anybody can look this up, right? It is on record that almost every single one of those 200,000 men went and married an indigenous woman in Mexico and procreated. So this was about 400 years ago, right? So imagine the type of offspring that 200,000 Negroes can have over the course of 400.
Let me ask you something about that. You said this happened when?
This happened about 400 years ago, like in the early 1600s.
Tiger Woodby.
A Lobo with African descent blood and also indigenous blood.
Lobo could describe a person of black and Amerindian parents.
Tiger Woods' father will be a Judite, his mother will be a Moabite, and guess what? He's a Buddhist. All right.
American Indians again. I read this before, but I'm gonna read it again. In the Maya context, Fray Diego de Landa, one of the early Spanish padres, fathers, priests, recorded a Yucatan tradition. Yucatan is Mexico.
Spanish evaluation of Indian and other cultures often depended on the presence or absence of a script. The Maya, together with the Chinese, occupied a middle position in the hierarchy. To combat this growing evil, he immediately arrested some 40 leading Indians, among whom were 10 governors and rulers from the Mani area, including Francisco de Montijo Xui, a scion of the oldest Mayan family.
For years, the Aztecs, they had them big Olmec heads. That's their natural features. That's their natural features. Them big heads you see over there, that's how Issachar looked.
That leads us to the next question. Had the Americans contact with the Chinese? How could such a contact be established? It's time to bring the Olmecs back into sight. If you examine Olmec artifacts, only the giant heads look Negroid. The smaller objects, often made from jade, show Eastern-looking features. Here's a small collection of these. This strange object is referred to as the wrestler. Be honest to yourself. Would you expect this to be dug out in America? If it could speak, I think it would rather quote Confucius. Jade is a very hard stone that can have different colors. It is found in all shades of brown, from very pale to almost black, but most valued is the green type. In fact, the name jade is used for two different types of stone, jadeite and nephrite. It has been used in America in particular by the Olmecs and the Maya, and it was also of great value in China and Japan on the other side of the globe. Cotterill claims only one type of jade was native to Mexico, but both types had been used. If true, this could be a significant point. The source of jade in Costa Rica still is a great mystery. Some believe Ekholm 1964, Heine Geldern 1959, that jade was exchanged between pre-Columbian groups of America and cultures from another continent, over sea routes that left no distinct trail. The diffusionist theory relates these artifacts with the Chinese culture.
It's called the Ice Age theory. They call it the ice.
They have proof of us going from the land bridge. They have proof of us coming from Asia.
Lalana Chinantec, a Mexican Indian language, has a system of 6 phonemic tones and a contrastive syllable feature that has become known as ballistic versus controlled syllables. The fact that in some languages lower tones are associated with ballistic syllables is of considerable interest. Posits that ballistic syllable is a reflex of an historical post-vocalic age. Post-vocalic age can lead to the development of a lower or falling tone as in Middle Chinese and Vietnamese. The ballistic controlled phenomenon has effects on all facets of the syllable, including tone. Therefore I also present an acoustic description of the tonal system of LC. While many such descriptions exist for Southeast Asian languages, this is the first acoustico description of a tone language from Middle America. The broken arrows in the path of paper indicate the now accepted route of the Proto-Mongolic people to the land of America. The line invasion continues, so far as paper is concerned, to the plateau of Mexico and the lowlands of Middle America. There in some remote period, perhaps even less before the crude beginnings in China, the Mayans made the first paper from beaten fibers of mulberry family.
Watch this.
Clearly, the age-old all came over from the Bering Strait theory is no longer valid.
It's a lie. Age-old Bering Strait theory is no longer valid.
Now let's get back to the origins of the Meso and South American cultures. We all were told that America was first populated by migrating people from Asia, using the then existing land bridge at the Bering Strait during the last ice age. When that land bridge disappeared, the freshly arrived Americans were on their own, until the conquistadores came. But there's a lot of evidence that the Asians had not forgotten about America and migrated again, but this happened just a few thousand years ago. The idea that Chinese people crossed the waters to America at the end of the Shang dynasty, also called Yuan dynasty sometimes, is actually not a recent one. I found information that dates back to the 70s. In my eyes, there's ample evidence to back this theory. The Shang dynasty began around 1600 BC and ended when King Shou was defeated around 1100 BC by the upcoming Zhou people under their leader Wu Wang. The homeland of the Shang was the area west of the Shandong Peninsula at the Yellow Sea, roughly between Beijing and Shanghai. In order to reach the American shores, assumed they had no powered boats, they needed to pick up an ocean current. Appropriate currents exist at the northern part of the Pacific and they flow from the southern Yellow Sea, past Japan and the Aleutians, right to the coast of western Mexico, and return eventually to the Asian side on a southern route. Since the Olmec civilization started around 1500 BC, the time frame fits perfectly. There are some interesting points in correlation to that. Shang artwork is very consistent in appearance. It's so easily recognizable that even laymen can tell if a piece is Shang or not. Although the artwork of the succeeding Zhou shows clearly the influence of the Shang up to a point, when for the Zhou the time came to step aside, it disappeared completely. One of the best known Shang designs is the Teoti. It shows an animal in both front and side views at the same time. Cover the sides and see the front view, then cover one half to see a side view. This drawing explains it very well. Teotis look mostly just like this one, but other animals, for example owls, are also known. This concept seems to be not unknown to the Americans, as this picture from El Tajin shows. Here's another interesting look-alike. This is a jaguar shaman from an Olmec site, and this a tiger from the Shang dynasty. I leave it to you to find the matching Shang vessel. Some experts on Chinese writing are convinced that they have found similarities between the Shang script, used on oracle bones and early Olmec script. On the following pages, I have put together some more pictures to support all these ideas. Some show striking similarities.
Do y'all actually believe that Mexicans are Israelites?
Yes, we
Yes.
do. Wholeheartedly. Yes, we do. And we have the biblical proof on top of that. We need to go ahead and go to we need to go to Genesis 49.
Genesis 49.
I don't want to get too far off topic, but we can touch on this right now.
Genesis 49:14. Issachar is a strong ass.
Whoa, stop. What is a strong ass? What?
Strong donkey.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What's the symbol? What has always been historically the symbol of the Mexicans?
A donkey, a camel,
Yeah,
a
you know
horse.
what I'm talking about. But what is the symbol? The iconic symbol?
A burro. A burro.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
burro.
about. Yeah. Right. That's always been a iconic symbol with the Mexicans. Am I wrong or right?
No, you're right.
Right, yeah. Anyway, I'm talking about the iconic symbol that's traditionally been used to represent Mexicans. I want that. burden is something that's heavy up on you, right? The two burdens has to do with Issachar. You know what's in the middle of the two burdens? Let me tell y'all what the middle of the two burdens is. The wall. Y'all get what I'm saying? The wall. The wall. Build a wall. Build a wall. That's between the two burdens. You see what I'm saying?
Let's go to Issachar, since we're talking about Issachar. Issachar is a strong ass couching between two burdens. And he saw that rest was good, and that the land was pleasant. And he bowed his shoulders to bear and became a servant unto tribute. Stop right there. What I just read, can you get any information on what Issachar is today or we could be in the future? No, you can't. It says Issachar is a strong ass crouching between two burdens. That's all it says. It doesn't say Issachar is a Latino. It don't say Issachar should be turned pale or Issachar should be mixed with the Gentiles. It don't say nothing like that.
You in the middle, crouching down between the two burdens. One burden is Mexico. The other burden is the United States. And you're between them on the goddamn wall, trying to get from one burden to the goddamn next.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Oppression starts to crush you down, and it makes you small, and it makes you that. I mean, I'm just keeping it real. It does. This shit weighs on you. That's why you see Mexicans, and they seem like they're heathens and shit. You see a lot of Mexicans, and they seem like they're heathens because they all crouch in the small, and they're afraid. They're, you know what I'm saying?
That nigga crazy.
I don't want to get too far off topic, but we can touch on this right now. I've never seen that. It's something new, enlighten me. I've never seen that. They don't speak that.
I never seen that in the church.
Oh, you mean to tell me that's Hebrew? That's Hebrew. Is that what you're telling me? No, it's not. You know what I'm saying? It's not that. No, I hate. No. Go ahead.
A Chinese professor at the University of Central Oklahoma, Su had developed a hypothesis that Olmec culture, the Mayans' mother culture, may have come into existence with the help of a group of Chinese who fled across the Pacific as refugees at the end of the Shang dynasty, 1600 to 1100 BC. Su said he had found more than 150 glyphs on photographs and real specimen of Olmec pottery, jade artifacts and sculptures that closely resemble the characters used in Chinese oracle bone writings and bronze inscriptions of the pre-Qin dynasty period before 221 BC. Su's confidence was boosted by Chen Hanping, whom he met at a major exhibition on the Olmec civilization in the National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C. the same year he made the writing discovery. Chen Hanping, a former history researcher from the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, recognized faint writings on some Mayan jade cells. Polished, chisel-shaped implements were actually oracle scripts from the Shang dynasty. They read the ruler and his chieftains established the foundation for a kingdom. The Beijing Youth Daily recently reported that Wang Dao and Song Baozhang, two Chinese researchers who visited the Beijing exhibition, had claimed the writings etched in the celts on display made reference to Chinese people before the Shang dynasty. The evidence linking the two cultures is not limited to writing. Not only do the Chinese and Mayans both belong to the Mongoloid races, characterized by black hair and yellow skin, the two civilizations also shared a number of customs and images. For example, the structure of temples found on top of Mayan pyramids resembles Chinese ancestral temples, and the feathered serpent spirit worshipped in Mesoamerica is similar to the Chinese dragon. People on both sides of the Pacific also shared a love of jade and a tradition of building stone stelae to record historic events. The breast-like feet found on ancient Mayan pottery containers are also similar to shapes found on examples of Chinese prehistoric pot.